Hello, hello. If you would like to see a comparison video of the Moterm Personal Versa and the Gillio Medium Cara, then stay tuned. Hello, hello. Hey guys. So I am on to do a comparison video of the Moterm Versa Personal and the Gillio Medium Cara. So this is basically just a compare the two. I'm not going to get into like super great detail. I'm also not going to really give my opinion on which one I would say to purchase. I want you guys to see this video, see the differences and nuances of each, and make that decision for yourself. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. So just looking at the outer covers, you can see pretty easily, and I'll bring this down even further so it makes it easier for y'all. Let me line this up a little bit. You can see that the Versa Personal, and I don't know why that's hard for me to say, but for whatever reason it keeps tongue-tying me this morning, is a little bit taller than the Gillio Medium Cara. So let's stand them up. That never works for me. I don't know why, but I feel like it sort of doesn't. There we go. Line up super great. It's not quite that much. Hang on. So it is definitely a little bit, just trying to get these lined up here. There we go. That's more like it. So it's definitely a little bit taller. It's not drastically, but it is taller. So you can kind of see the leather difference there. So we're literally just talking millimeters. Let me grab my trusty silhouette. So let's see, maybe half a centimeter. Yeah, right around there. So about 5 millimeters difference between the two in height. It's not drastic, but it's there for sure. So that's just kind of like the first thing that pops out. Now, Gillio does offer a number of their medium Caras with like different stitching. So this is an older version that they no longer make. This is the let me say it right, Lila and purple. And I'm going to just open this up really quick just to show you that contrast color. So with that contrast color, they did the contrast stitching, which makes me absolutely love this even more. But we'll just, because y'all, you know me, purple and purple. Yeah, okay. But so Gillio did used to offer that. I know that they do still have some that they have the contrast stitching, so that's a little different. Versus Moterm, for the most part, just has the stitching that is the same. So really just personal preference on whether you like contrast stitching or matching stitching. So, there really is no right or wrong there. It's really just what you prefer. And I am one of those that it depends. Like this one I absolutely love. I have had some that I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done contrast stitching. But it just depends on the color for me. So like this one, if it had like black or even white contrast stitching, I'm not sure I would like it as much as with the matching, and it's mostly because of the color. So okay, the next thing, just looking at them like this, you can see that the popper clasps have different widths, heights, however you want to say that. So let's just actually look at those and compare so that you guys can just, actually, let's do it this way so you can really see the difference. So Gillio's on their medium Mia is definitely a lot fatter. I like to say thick. It's a lot thicker than the Moterms, and you can see right there. And again, I can like roughly measure it. This one's like between 3 and 4 millimeters more in the thickness of that clasp versus this one. Okay, so that's obviously a bit of a difference there. The other difference, looking at the clasps, is in the medium Mia Cara. Actually, this won't work. I'll have to do it this way. And I talked about this with the pocket. So their clasp is basically glued and stitched, and so it is kind of just like 2 layers of leather on top of the other. So you can see that there. Gillio also does not put like stuffing in their clasps. So this one hasn't done it, and it's an older version, but some people complain about their clasp getting that, with the Apoca leathers, getting that what they call dot, D-O-T. This one is sort of finished on, like wax finished on the edge in a like color. If you look really close, you know, you can see that there was 2 layers of leather. You can kind of see that line. And then they went over it with sort of a wax finish. Can see that. And because their leather is more of a pebbled leather, I don't foresee there becoming a patina on the clasp there, so you wouldn't necessarily get that dot like you get from the Apoca leather. So just, again, just putting that out there as a complete comparison. I know that at one time Gillio was looking at padding their clasps. I'm not sure if that's still in the works, if they're planning on doing that or not. I really don't know. So let's get into just the basic insides. So with this particular, I'm gonna have to zoom out, and you're gonna see some junk on my desk. So with this particular part of the covers, you're gonna start noticing some differences. And just for the sake of doing, I'm going to put a pen in this pouch. Okay, now, so the popper side pockets, gusseted pockets, are definitely a lot different between the medium Mia Cara and the Moterm Personal Versa. So with this particular one, you can see there are 2 poppers. This particular one is silver. I think they all are silver, but I'm not 100%. The inside is lined with the kind of, I know it's not leather, but it's leather-like material on the inside, and it's gusseted on both sides. Okay, I use this one as my financial planner for personal and business, so I have a little calculator in there. This one here also has a zipper that goes in here, and it goes basically all the way to the front of this here. So it's pretty deep. It's a pretty deep pocket, zippered. And they have a little leather tag on the end of their zipper there. Okay, so that is Gillio's. Now let's look at Moterm's. So Moterm, and I'm going to take this out, has this front pocket with 4 rather wide card, and this is a, let's see, let me find an actual business card. Give me a second. I can use this. This is a washi card, but it's, you know, a Starbucks like gift card type deal. So it does fit sideways. So they're pretty wide, the pockets, and there are 4 of them there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then inside you have 2 poppers in silver, similar to the Gillio's as far as that goes. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets here on the front. Sorry, I hit my thing there. And then these ones would fit, of course this is a washi tape, so it's a little fatter, but it would fit basically a credit card vertically. So there's that. Then there, we'll get with the pocket. They have a gusseted pocket here, and instead of the faux leather, there's a sort of a vinyl-y material. You can see in there, and it's the same here as well. It's the same vinyl material that it's sewed all the way down. So there's no like halfway stitching or anything like that. And actually, let me check this too, because I don't know. Nope, there's no halfway stitching. So that one does go all the way down, like the vinyl pockets go all the way down. Okay, so they have a gusseted pocket here. Let's actually just compare pockets a little bit. This one feels a little less gusseted than the Gillio's. You can see how wide I can get the Gillio pocket open. Oops. Versus how wide I can get the Moterms. It's not that much different, but it is a little bit different. So basically maybe their gussets here just aren't quite as big as Gillio's, but similar. Then the Moterm has a side zipper, no leather tag, but of course you could put whatever you want on that. And again, big pocket here and that same vinyl-y material. Okay, so that basically shows you the poppers. Now, I do find, because the popper on this one's a bit bigger, I find it a little more cumbersome, maybe not to open, but to close. You have to like really find the spots for the poppers. So it is a little bit more, not that it matters, but it is a little bit more difficult to close versus the Gillio. You can literally do it without thinking about it because it's just easier. There is also a slip pocket here on both the Gillio and the Moterm, and both of them have this little sleeve for a pen. Okay, now getting into the inner binders, I'm gonna slide both of them right out, and then we're gonna just set these aside for now. Okay, so the inner binder of the Gillio, I didn't measure it per se, and measuring on camera is kind of tough sometimes, but you can kind of read for yourself. We're not quite 13 closed, and the Moterm, just kind of eyeballing it, is a little more than 14 closed. Okay, so the Moterms is definitely bigger as far as just the inner cover itself, which is not surprising because, you know, the Moterm itself is just a bigger cover. Okay, so comparing the inside, you have similarities. So this one has a slanted pocket on the Gillio. As you can see, the Moterms is pretty much, it has a bit of a slant, but it's for the most part mostly straight across. Then the Gillio has, oops, let's bring this because it's hard to see, 3 slots here, and with these slots you can only do vertical. This one's going to be too fat, but you can see the bottom of the card will go in there, so you could get 3 vertical cards here, versus the Moterm has wide slots, and there are 4 of them. Let's take that out. And so you can fit 4 cards in that direction. Again, it is lined with that vinyl, and I'm not sure what Gillio's is. Yep, Gillio's, it's hard to see because it's so tight. I really don't use these pockets, but has that sort of leathery material in there. Now, here is a difference coming into the planner that you are going to find in 2 things, actually. The first thing is that Moterm comes with a flyleaf and Gillio's does not. Now, the flyleaf also has a pen pouch on it and has 3 more additional wide pockets. So if you need lots of pockets, the Versa is definitely good for that. Now, I can't really compare rings properly in this cover because my current rings in my Cara are not Kraus rings, and that is because this is an older version and literally came out just before Kraus rings came out, and so there are no Kraus rings in here, but these ones have been pretty decent quality, and I would say this particular one matches up pretty well to the Moterms. I'm just trying to think if I have. Let's see. I do have, just trying to show you as far as Kraus rings go. So these are gold, of course, but you can see obviously the Kraus is written here, but the quality of the Kraus rings does tend to be a little bit better than the Moterm's rings that they're using. They have the ones with the screws, but to be completely fair, of course I haven't had this longevity wise. I don't know how well these will hold up over time. I do have some spares, so if I have to, it's easy to change out, and they're easy to get and pretty cheap. So for me, the rings really are not a deal breaker, because these ones, they still open fairly well. They may just not be quite as smooth to open as a Kraus, but otherwise I think they open and close fine. What I would consider to be similar to even like a Filofax or a Kiki, they're similar. So just putting that out there, just for those that are like ring people. Then the back of the inside of the inside covers. This is the difference here. So Moterm finishes theirs with leather. Gillio has kind of a textured, almost cardboardy like material that they have this back spot here sewed on to. So that one is definitely, I prefer, especially for the people that do use just the inner cover, which I don't, as you can see, because I have like all this overhang and I don't care. People that use just this, you know, just take this binder and leave the other part, that part might bother them, that the back of the Gillio isn't finished. But again, that's just personal preference. I do prefer that it's finished with leather. But again, that's just me. I'm going to leave these out so that we can now look at the back part of both the Gillio and the Moterm. So, pockets for pockets, it's about the same number of pockets, but you can see a couple of differences. So the Gillio has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets there that kind of cascade up, and these do fit wider cards, as you can see. They are not, hang on, before I say that, yep, they are not sewed on top, so they look to be pressed and then glued on the inside. Now, one thing to note, and this just came up recently in the fan group, if you look at the inside of the pockets of the Cara, and I don't know if this was just done for bulk or not to try to keep the bulk down, but they use a material that goes from here to about halfway, and then it's sewed. So it's not that sort of fake leather, but it's like that. So you can see that, okay? That's just as a comparison. Then the Moterm has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the bottom one is, as you can see, a like ID window. So I really like that touch. I think it's nice. And then, as you can see, the cards fit very easily in there. And so yeah, that works out. The other difference as well is Gillio has one pocket here and one slip pocket here, and obviously this is the one that the inner cover goes into. There is one extra one on the Moterm. So you have 1, you have 2, you have 3. Okay. The inside of the pockets for the Cara, for the big pocket, so this side has, again, that sort of material. I'm not really sure why they did that. And then that side has the leather. I'm assuming it's just because they wanted to keep the bulk down. And then this is leather on both of them, but I'm not really sure. And then it's going to be that same sort of vinyl-y material all the way through with the Moterm. Big back pockets, similar, nice and big. And let me get a full sheet of paper. I don't think it's going to completely fit height-wise, but width-wise for sure, but definitely not height-wise. And with the medium, it's the same. If I didn't have so much crap in here. Okay, so it's the same. Like, you can fit it this way, but height-wise it doesn't fit. Okay. So squared corners on both of the planners. So, You can see this one's a lot older, you know, so it definitely has already curled because it's older. Square corners will curl. That's just the nature of the square corner. So, you know, there has to be something from both companies that you're okay with. I will say I like how Moterm overflaps their leather on their corners better when they sew versus this just slit and sew, as you can see. So looking at that again, you can kind of see the like overlap and then the sew. I prefer that better. So I believe that that is pretty much everything. Really, the only last difference to note is the fact that the leather itself, sorry, I hit that again, is obviously, you know, a much different quality. So you're looking at a pebbled leather, very similar to leathers that you would get from, say, like Dooney and Burke, like pebbled leather bags. Real similar. This is a fairly soft pebble, so that is nice. Versus a higher end Italian Apoca leather. Now, you know, they are obviously different. You know, you're talking about veg tanned, you know, on the Gillio, and so, you know, you're going to get like a different, you'll get like a patina, and it's going to be a lot different leather wise with a Gillio Apoca versus the Moterm. Again, though, that's really personal preference. I will jump in before I get all the naysayers, and I want to just give this, you know, caveat really quickly. Gillio does state that their leathers come as a byproduct of the meat market, and so does Moterm. So there is a lot of stuff going on in the community right now where people are saying that Moterm is not sourced from byproducts. Moterm has confirmed themselves that that is not true. And I'm not going to get into why I think that is going about, but I'm just putting it out there that Moterm themselves, the owners, have confirmed that yes, the leather is coming from byproduct sourcing, and that's that. And so for me, you know, if I'm trusting that Gillio is saying that that's where they're getting their leather without any more information or knowledge, then I'm going to trust that Moterm's statement is exactly the same as Gillio's statement. And so I'm putting that out there because there have been a lot of YouTubers that have been telling people that this leather is not sourced from byproduct, and I'm just letting you know that Moterm has stated in their fan page, and you can go find it for yourself on Facebook, that their leather is also sourced from byproducts. So with that being said, I love them both, and I love them both for slightly different reasons. I do use this one as my financial planner, and this one I'm using as a business planner for my husband's business, which is why I picked gray, because it's like the only gray that I have, and it's easy for him to really be able to pull this one out of a pile to look at things. Pocket wise, for this use, meaning for my husband's business, having all these pockets is really cool, and I really enjoy that. Now, if I was using this as a financial planner, like I'm using this, I wouldn't need all those pockets. So I think really for just that alone, it again just kind of shows depending on what you're using them for. I I couldn't choose between the two. Of course, y'all know I'm a purple lover. So, and to be 100% transparent, not including my ostrich covers, this is my favorite color. So I just tend towards this one because of the color. But that has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the covers, the functionality of the covers. It just is my personal preference. So if you guys have any questions, feel free, please, to comment down below. I do ask. I don't want ugliness from either side of the camp, whether they're Gillio people or Moterm people. Please keep it cool, because to be 100%, if you're gonna come on and make comments that are false, I'm just gonna delete the comment. I'm not keeping that on my channel. Like I said, I wanted to kind of do this so that people can make decisions for themselves on which one that they think that would be better for them. Oh yes, I did want to talk about price point. And of course, I'm going to pause this so I can get this right. Okay, I wanted to make sure that I actually got the pricing of this so that you guys knew exactly price comparison, what you're going to pay between the two. So the Gillio Medium Mia Cara, currently in Lila First Quality, would be $498.91. And the Moterm Versa Personal in the pebbled leather is currently on AliExpress for $87.99, and sometimes you can also find them on Amazon too as well. They do have limited runs of stuff that hit Amazon. So that would be price comparison between the two, just so that, you know, I could put that out there so you guys know the difference in prices between the two. Again, this particular one is an older one that I purchased from the BST a couple years ago, and this price would have been different because this is a bicolor, but I'm just basing those prices on the current Lila, I think I said Lila before again, on the current Lila color that Gillio has on their website. And this is the US conversion. So just wanted to kind of put all of that out there so that you guys can make decisions based on what works for you. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel and supporting my little hobby, and I appreciate every single one of you, even the naysayers, even the dislikers. You're helping my algorithm, so thank you. Otherwise, have a good day and happy planning, y'all.